Hi everybody, welcome back to Crandall Reviews. I'm Matthew Crandall. Today with a book review for you, I'm going to take a look at Catalyst, a Rogue One prequel by James Luceno. It came out before Star Wars Rogue One came out. Now with Rogue One almost on Blu-ray and DVD, I thought that I would finally review this book for you to let you know if you were a fan of Rogue One, if this is sort of necessary reading or not. Now, without giving any major spoilers at first, the story basically follows Galen Erso as he is recruited by Orson Krennic to work on this scientific project, which we know will be the Death Star, and sort of the events that lead to him becoming part of this project, to him becoming basically a prisoner on this project, as we see in Star Wars Rogue One. I really enjoyed the style of this book. It was brisk, fast-paced writing with just enough detail to not get bogged down or boring. The characters are really well drawn. The settings are described wonderfully so that we know where we are, what the mood feels like. There's a lot of atmosphere as you read the book, and it's got good dialogue in it. Now, I thought, having seen Rogue One and read the book actually made me appreciate the characters of Krennic and Erso a lot more than the actual movie brings to the table. Because I knew all of their backstory from this novel, it makes moments with Lyra Erso carry more weight. And just Galen and Orson have such an interesting dynamic in the book that it brought that weight to their relationship in the movie that we don't actually get in the movie itself. So slight spoilers for the book and Rogue One. The book does have the birth of Jyn Erso, and we see sort of how she came to be and where she comes from. And like I said, this book provides all of the interesting backstory for how the Geonosians worked on the Death Star, how the Death Star got started and turned into a Death Star, how Krennic got Galen Erso to be part of this, and their relationship and dynamic, which is kind of they're best friends but they hate each other, is really interesting, and it adds more weight when you're watching Rogue One when Lyra dies and when Galen dies. And even we understand why Krennic doesn't like Grand Moff Tarkin before he's a Grand Moff, because of stuff that happens in this book. So it's something that I really thought it was well written, and it's brisk. It's a fairly short read. You can read it in a couple of hours, and it's not a slog. Like I'm on record as not being a fan of the very first Star Wars Aftermath by Chuck Wendig, because all of the prose was such a slog to get through. It was too descriptive. It was too cutesy in the way it would try to describe stuff that I never got a sense of the universe or the characters. But James Luceno actually writes in a way that it's straightforward. It gives you enough detail that you feel like you know where you are and what the characters are without bogging you down in long, boring passages. It's a book that moves and has interesting peripheral characters, and it just made me appreciate parts of Star Wars Rogue One that much more because I had the backstory. Now, it's all backstory that is not essential, but if you're a fan of Rogue One, it's worth it to go back and read this book to get that information, because I found it useful, and like I said, it made parts of Rogue One more impactful and more meaningful because I knew of the previous relationships. Have you read the book? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Hit the comments. Let me know what you thought of it. Like the video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching. And the best part? There's no weird Saw Gerrera wig shit in the book.